What is up, friends, and welcome into a Mercado Top 10. I am Mike Mercado. I want to thank you so much for making us a part of your day. On today's episode, we are doing our top 10 zombie movies. Before that happens, we give you the rules of what we consider a zombie movie, because that has its own interpretation. Do us a favor and follow us on Twitter at mmercado2333. Do us a huge favor, subscribe to us on YouTube/MikeMercado2333. We're also on Instagram if you want to follow us at MikeMercado2333. And check out all the new work we are working on the brand new website, mercadoairwaves.wordpress.com. On today's The Mercado Top 10, we are doing our top 10 zombie films. And to give you an idea of what we consider a zombie film here at The Mercado Top 10, the zombie genre to me has to deal with some form of humanoid, former living creature, former living human that comes back, that is reanimated or transformed to eat or destroy or spread a disease among the living. That is what I'm considering a zombie movie, and these movies have that in it. So does that mean that they can only be the stereotypical zombies where they just moan and walk around like The Walking Dead? Nor does that exclude it from being zombies like The Walking Dead, or ones that you see, the fast-running zombies, which might make a appearance on this list. So why don't we get right into it? Don't forget, this is interactive. I want to know what you guys think. What's your top 10? What do you agree with? What you disagree with? And what would you add or take off the list? As we go on, please comment on the YouTube page, Mike Mercado2333, or on Twitter at mmercado2333. And let's get started with number 10. I have the Timothy Olyphant movie, The Crazies, directed by Breck Eisner, and also starring Daniel Panabaker, who you might know as Killer Frost in the Flash CW show. I take a lot of this movie. I really enjoy, and why I break it up, why I make it in my top 10 is the fact that it's very much a zombie movie with a little bit of a twist. With obviously we've seen the Army being a part of a lot of different zombie films, but kind of the Army being the being directly responsible for the zombie outbreak, and the way the zombies are smart. They're very much humanoid. They have that 28 days later type of feel to them where they're very aggressive, very dangerous, but they've kept some form of their humanity in them, or at least the instinct of violence of what we have in humanity. So The Crazies starts my top 10 list at number 10. And coming in at number 9 is from the master himself, George A. Romero, directed and written Land of the Dead, starring John Leguizamo and Simon Baker. What I enjoy so much about from George A. Romero's movies are the fact that obviously, for the most part, it's a continuous line. And I love that Land of the Dead was one of my first true experiences with a Romero zombie movie. This is not the classic Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Dead, Day of the Dead, so on and so forth. What I enjoyed about this movie was its modern take on the zombie film, at least in 2005, where we weren't just using them as mindless creatures. Kind of what happened in our number 10 of The Crazies. These zombies were evolving. And these were the very stereotypical moaning George A. Romero zombies. But the fact that after all these years, he kind of evolved his own monster. And what he thought after all these years of the cinematic universe that he's created, low-key, these movies, these zombie movies, the fact that you could see that these zombies were trying to create their own way in life. That maybe no longer they were the norm. We were the monsters. We were the out-of-place ones in their home. And I find that a very interesting dynamic for a George A. Romero zombie film. So that's what brings it in at number 9 for me. At number 8, we continue on with a little bit of the different tone type of zombie movies, and that is a classic, a cult classic, however you want to say it, Bruce Campbell, starring in Sam Raimi's written and directed Army of Darkness, a man going back to the 1300s and all hell breaks loose. The comedy on point. Bruce Campbell is a freaking legend after this, and the fact that you could see that that character or just to this day be on television, and just the charisma that it has for it having a lot of little creeps and scares. It's a fun movie, a lot of action, and it also kind of hits that fantasy aspect that we don't see a lot of in zombie films. You know, we don't get to see that atmosphere of castles and zombies. And I think that's really cool that we got the amazing minds of Sam Raimi, who would eventually go on to direct those Spider-Man movies and some of these other classics. I'm a big fan of Army of Darkness, and that's what brings it in as our number 8. Coming in at number 7 is a sequel. The first movie makes a higher appearance in this list, but what I find to be another such fun movie is 28 Weeks Later, starring Jeremy Renner, directed by Juan Carlos Fresnaldo. I hope I'm saying that correctly. But a phenomenal sequel, building on the world that really changed zombie films at its time in 28 Days Later. Just the idea of what happens after a zombie apocalypse, or what would happen after a disaster like that. How would the other countries kind of help out with each other? And of course, nothing works out in this movie, but it's a very fun sequel and another continuation of what we consider to be the modern day zombie. At number 6, one of the movies that had me absolutely hyped when it was announced and then eventually released in 2007, it is I Am Legend, starring Will Smith, directed by Francis Lawrence. Very interesting enough, I always felt it never got the love it deserved, simply because of who the main star is, and on top of the hype that was behind it. The fact that a lot of people thought this was Will Smith's Castaway, but it wasn't. It was a sci-fi thriller about these monsters, about humanity deteriorating after a cure is found for the most devastating disease to humans in cancer. And then to watch Will Smith and his dog's interaction throughout the whole movie and the heartstrings that it pulls on towards the end of the movie, fantastic. It has some holes in it, but as a zombie movie, such a well acted movie. You're invested the whole time. Spoiler alert, other until you meet the other humans in the movie, it just being Will Smith, the dog, and those creatures, awesome. The atmosphere, the danger that you feel that, well, you have to get home at night. Phenomenal movie. Doesn't get a lot of love. I Am Legend clears out at number 6. To start our top 5 is a remake. Remakes don't get a lot of love in anything. But the 2004 remake of Dawn of the Dead, directed by Zack Snyder, based off the screenplay of James Gunn and George A. Romero. Again, one of these movies that changed how we look at zombies. And really feeling that tension every single time they were on the screen. That you could feel that you just wanted to run yourself, that you were not safe on your couch or in the movie theater. And say what you will about Zack Snyder, I had my gripe with, but specifically in this type of movie, it worked out perfectly. The best before impact, violence, amazing, the engaging, big of 2004 remake, and that's why it starts our top 5 at number 5. But heading into number 4, another movie that is just very smart, and that's what I could appreciate so much. It is Ruben Fletcher's Zombieland, starring Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone, Woody Harrelson, Abigail Breslin. Such a fun, smart movie. Very charming, obviously, because of the actors in it. I think this is one of the films that you get the best out of all the main actors in it. This movie specifically is so character driven, and the actors portray their characters so well that it almost seems like we're in the actual zombie apocalypse with Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone. Their chemistry completely on point. The Easter eggs amazing, and obviously Bill Murray steals the show every single time. And not to mention, the zombies looked terrifying and awesome. The zombie scenes, amazing. The zombie kills, phenomenal. Zombieland, such a fun, really exciting movie but also a zombie classic, which is why I have it in at number 4. But it is time for our top 3, what is definitely going to get people talking. But before we head into that, what do you guys think? Please let me know on Twitter at mmercado2333. We're on YouTube. Subscribe to me at MikeMercado2333. Also on Instagram, follow us at MikeMercado2333. Also check out the website, mercadoairwaves.wordpress.com. Before we hit the top 3, let me give you a quick rundown. We have at number of the Dead. At number 8, Army of Darkness. 7, 20 weeks later. At number 6, I Am Legend. At 5, Dawn of the Dead 2004 remake. At number 4, Zombieland. Coming in at number 3, starring Brad Pitt, is World War Z. A movie that had so much production drama going into it. People speak about these Rogue One reshoots or the Suicide Squad reshoots as if it's DEFCON 1. World War Z's reshoots were so dramatic, it's a different film. And you could look it up all over the internet. For the movie that we got, what's so engaging, so dramatic, and the storytelling was awesome. And I think a lot of it is Brad Pitt is such a phenomenal actor. This movie had no reason being successful. First of all, full disclosure, the book, World War Z, and the movie, World War Z, totally different. Totally different. Which gives it credence when they say they want to make a sequel. You could take so much from the lore of World War Z into the sequel. But the actual movie itself, it's very smart on how it tries, how the survivors make it through it and what the ultimate decisions are throughout the whole movie. Very, very smart, very fun. You could feel the tension throughout the whole movie. Other than the fact that it's Brad Pitt, they do a good job of making you feel that he's in danger every single second. And by the end of the movie, you don't know which kind of turn he's going to take. And I find World War Z, all the drama that it had, all the naysayers from the fact that it's not a pure word-for-word adaptation from the book, they delivered in a very emotionally packed, intense, awesome zombie movie with these zombies being terrifying. And the explanations they give to some of the reasons why zombies do certain things, I think is top-notch and a definitely must-buy. At number 2, it is Shaun of the Dead, directed by Edgar Wright, written by Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright, starring Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Such a fun movie. Talk about zombie designs, perfect. Talk about zombie kills, perfect. Chemistry of the characters, perfect. Character arcs, perfect. And of course, the comedic timing, amazing. Shaun of the Dead, one of my favorite personal movies. On top of that, being in the zombie genre, taking itself serious enough to make a quality movie. On top of it, not taking itself serious enough to give you the proper laughs. And that just goes to show the talent that Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright have. Shaun of the Dead is such a good movie. It's such a smart humor type of movie. A must watch if you have not seen it. But at number 1 for me, it is the movie that I feel changed zombie lore, just changed the way we look at zombie films, and that is 28 Days Later, directed by Danny Boyle. The main actor, Cillian Murphy, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name, but you've seen him in all these Christopher Nolan movies, for example, and he's the Scarecrow in the Dark Knight trilogy, and he's in Inception. Phenomenal actor, obviously. He's a great character actor. He brings out the emotions through his facial expressions. He delivers lines perfectly. You could tell that he's scared. You could tell he's not sure about the world he's living in. And then these side characters come in and they're so engaged in the world. And you could just feel the danger and their suffering throughout this whole movie. Throughout this whole movie, you could just feel the emotions that go through these characters. And the fear that the zombies have in this movie are so nightmare-inducing. This movie came out in 2002. This movie changed the way you dream, or in most cases, have nightmares about zombies. They have become the modern-day zombie. And the explanation have that it's a rage virus. that it makes you lose all control and that it's spread by blood to blood contamination. Unbelievable storytelling by Danny Boyle, written by Alex Garland. A must watch for any zombie fan. A great movie. A great look into what happens to people in these type of situations and what might happen in the grand scheme of things if we lose control, if the army loses control, if people lose control, and if this type of disease takes over. A must watch, whether if you want to be scared or have a great time just watching a very, very scary but good movie. 28 Days Later, my number one zombie movie of all time. That'll do it for us, guys. Really quickly, let's go through it. At number 10, we have The Crazies. At number 9, Land of the Dead. At 8, Army of Darkness. At number 7, 28 Weeks Later. At 6, I Am Legend. Our top 5, at number 5, Dawn of the Dead 2004 remake. At number 4, Zombieland. Number 3, World War Z. At 2, Shaun of the Dead. And the number 1 zombie movie of all time here on the Mercado Top 10, 28 Days Later. You can follow us everywhere in the universe, guys. We're on Twitter at mmercado2333. Follow us on Instagram at MikeMercado2333. Subscribe to us on YouTube /MikeMercado2333. And visit the new website, MercadoAirwaves.wordpress.com. Let us know what you guys thought. What did we get right? What did we get wrong? What did we miss? What should we add? Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you on the next Mercado Top 10.